I was nothing but a body, a famished stomach. Think about that for a second. That's the stark reality for Elie Wiesel, the narrator of the memoir Night. We're talking about a world where everything you are, everything you think you are, is just boiled down to the most basic primal need.
So in this explainer, we're going to dive deep into a really crucial part of this powerful memoir. We're going to trace how this kind of unimaginable suffering just chips away at everything: your morals, who you are, and maybe most importantly, your faith.
All right, let's set the scene. We're in the Buna work camp, and you have to understand, all the normal rules, gone. Just forget about them. Life isn't something you just have anymore. It's something you trade. It's a commodity. Everything, and I mean everything, from a pair of shoes to keeping your own father safe, it's all part of this twisted, brutal new economy. And this dehumanization, it's instant. The second they get there, they're not seen as people, not at all. They're resources, like cattle or merchandise. They get looked over, sorted, and picked for work crews, not as men, but as things, valued only for what their bodies can do. And this isn't just an insult, it's the absolute core principle of how the whole camp operates.
And this is what that brutal math of survival actually looks like. You've got his shoes, right? A piece of his old life. The price of keeping them? Well, it's tied to staying with his father. And that gold crown in his mouth, that's not just a filling anymore. It becomes a bargaining chip, and the cost of keeping it is watching his father get beaten every single day. Every choice is a horrible transaction, literally weighing one kind of pain against another.
This right here, this is a huge turning point for his inner world. The camp dentist, the one who was after that gold crown, gets arrested for trafficking gold teeth on the side. And how does our narrator feel? Pity? Nope. He feels relief. Just pure relief. Why? Because his asset, this little piece of gold that could buy him bread or even time, is safe now. In a world like this, empathy is a luxury you just can't afford. Your whole world shrinks down to that next bowl of soup.
So all this pressure from the outside, it does more than just change how people act. It starts to fundamentally change who they are on the inside. All that random, constant violence, it's like acid. It just starts eating away at his very sense of self.
I mean, look at the capo, Idek. His anger is completely unpredictable, like a storm. It's sudden, it makes no sense, and it's absolutely devastating. He beats the narrator bloody for what? For just crossing his path? The violence is so random it's almost like a sick game, and it just rips any idea of logic or justice right out of the world. And then that same senseless rage gets turned on the one person our narrator is desperately trying to protect, his own father. Idek just explodes, furious that the old man isn't working fast enough, and he beats him with an iron bar until he just collapses.
And this next part, wow, it perfectly captures how twisted everything has become. The narrator feels anger, but it's not at Idek, the one doing the beating. No, it's aimed at his own father. He's angry at his dad for not being able to avoid the beating. Can you imagine? In this world where it's all about survival, his father's weakness feels like a liability. That natural love and need to protect gets warped into resentment. That's what the camp does to you. And we see this horrifying logic play out again with the gold crown. The foreman, Franek, he sees the narrator's weak spot, his love for his father. So what does he do? For 2 straight weeks, he tortures the old man, just beats him because he can't march right. Finally, the narrator can't take it anymore. He gives in. The tooth is ripped out with a rusty spoon. And the punchline to this cruel joke? 2 weeks later, Franek gets transferred. The whole thing, all that pain, all that sacrifice, was for absolutely nothing. Okay, and all of this brings us to what is really the emotional and spiritual heart of this whole section. It's a story about 2 hangings and how they force the narrator to stare right into the silence of God, and how that encounter just shatters his faith completely. So the first hanging, it's this strong young guy from Warsaw. He got caught stealing during an air raid, and now he's being made an example of. But even as he's on the gallows, he's totally defiant. With his last breath, he's shouting a curse on Germany.
And what's our narrator thinking? Is he thinking about defiance, liberty? No, he's thinking about his dinner. He's hungry. To him, this execution is just something he has to get through before he gets his soup. And when he gets it, he remembers the soup tasting better than ever. Why? Because he's alive, and that man isn't. Death has become so normal that the only thing that really matters anymore is survival.
But then, the second hanging happens. And this one is different. It's 3 prisoners accused of sabotage. And one of them is just a little boy, a Pipple, who everyone in the camp loved. They said he had the face of a sad-eyed angel. This is so horrific that it even shakes the SS guards. It feels like something more than just another death, like a violation of something fundamental.
So they're all forced to march past and watch this little boy dying on the gallows. And a man's voice from behind the narrator asks the question that's on everyone's mind, the one they're all screaming inside. For God's sake, where is God?
And in that moment, our narrator hears an answer, not from the sky, but from deep inside himself. Where is he? This is where, hanging here from this gallows, God isn't watching. God is on the gallows, dying with that child. For him, that's it. That's the moment his belief in a kind, powerful God just dies. It's murdered, right there along with that little boy.
Think back to that first hanging, remember? The soup tasted better than ever. But tonight, the soup tastes of corpses. He's not detached anymore. Not at all. The death of that child broke through every wall he'd built up. He's been changed, forever. The taste of death isn't just an observation now. It's inside him.
So, where do you go from there? What does it even mean to keep living when you believe your God is dead? This moment, it's a point of no return. Now he has to figure out how to survive in a world that he sees as totally empty. No divine justice, no meaning.
When you really boil it down, the hanging of that little boy wasn't just one more horror. It was the horror. It was the one single event that just obliterated his entire spiritual worldview. It's the death of innocence itself, and it leaves him floating in this huge, empty spiritual void.
And that leaves us with this huge question that just hangs over the rest of the book. When everything that gives your life meaning, your morals, your family, your faith, when all of it is systematically ripped away, what's left? What's left of the human spirit? What does it really mean to survive? Not just with your body, but with your soul intact.